Jake Morrison stood at the viewing window of the diplomatic shuttle, watching the massive alien station grow larger. His heart pounded with excitement and fear. After 300 years of dreaming about the stars, humanity was finally meeting other intelligent life. Behind him, Ambassador Kyle Peterson checked his uniform for the 5th time. "Stop fidgeting," Dr. Lisa Hammond said with a nervous smile. She held a data pad filled with information about the 12 alien species they were about to meet. "We need to look confident." "I am confident," Kyle replied, but his shaking hand said otherwise. The Galactic Council station was enormous, bigger than any human city. It floated in space like a silver crown, reflecting the light of a distant blue star. Jake had studied every image they had received from the Council, but seeing it in person took his breath away. This was really happening. The shuttle docked with a soft thump. The airlock opened, and Jake stepped through first, followed by the rest of the human delegation. 20 humans, the best and brightest Earth had to offer, walked into a wide corridor filled with strange beings. A creature that looked like a floating jellyfish approached them. It spoke through a translation device. "Welcome, humans. I am Coordinator Velshax. The Council awaits." They followed Velshax through halls made of materials that shifted color as they walked. Jake saw aliens of every imaginable shape. Some walked on 6 legs, others floated, and one creature seemed to be made of living metal. Each one stopped to stare at the humans. The council chamber was a vast circular room with 12 thrones arranged in a circle. Each throne held a representative of the major galactic species. At the center stood a holographic display of the Milky Way galaxy. "Humans of Earth!" a deep voice boomed. It came from a reptilian creature sitting on the largest throne. "I am High Chancellor Mordak. We have reviewed your petition to join the Galactic Council. We have studied your history, your biology, and your culture." Kyle stepped forward. "We are honored by your consideration, High Chancellor. Humanity wishes to learn from the wisdom of the Council and contribute to galactic peace." Mordak's eyes narrowed. "Peace. An interesting word from your species." He gestured to the holographic display. Images began to appear, showing scenes from Earth's history. Wars. Weapons. Destruction. Jake felt his stomach tighten as he watched. The world wars, nuclear explosions, battlefields covered in bodies. The images kept coming, each one worse than the last. "This is humanity," Mordak continued. "In your short history, you have fought over 10,000 wars. You created weapons capable of destroying your entire planet. You consume resources faster than your world can replace them. You are aggressive, territorial, and violent." "That's our past," Lisa spoke up, her voice steady despite her fear. "We've learned from our mistakes. We've had global peace for over 50 years now." 50 years, another council member said, a being that looked like a crystalline tree. "We have maintained peace for 50,000 years. Your species is young and dangerous." Kyle tried again. "Every species must have had a violent past. Evolution requires competition. We're ready to move beyond that and join the galactic community." Mordak stood from his throne. "We have encountered species like yours before. We call them apex predators. Species that evolved through aggression and dominance, species that cannot coexist peacefully with others." "That's not fair," Jake said, stepping forward. "You're judging us based on fear, not fact." "We judge you based on evidence," Mordak replied coldly. "The Council has made its decision. Humanity is hereby classified as a Category 5 apex predator species. You are too dangerous to integrate into galactic society." The words hit Jake like a physical blow. Around him, the other humans gasped in shock. "You're exiling us?" Kyle asked in disbelief. "We came here in peace." "You came here because you developed faster-than-light travel in only 50 years, Mordak said. "A process that took most species 500 years. Your rapid advancement combined with your aggressive nature makes you a threat. The Council's decision is final." "What does this mean?" Lisa asked quietly. Mordak gestured to the holographic display again. A red sphere appeared around Earth's star system. "You are confined to a 50-light-year radius around your home world. Automated defense stations will be placed at this boundary. Any human vessel that crosses it will be destroyed. You will remain in quarantine until such time as your species evolves beyond its predatory nature." "And how long will that take?" Jake demanded. "Most species never do," the crystalline being said. "They destroy themselves eventually." Admiral Ben Crawford, who had remained silent until now, stepped forward. "You're sentencing us to slow death. We need resources beyond our solar system to survive." "Your system contains everything you need if you manage your resources wisely," Mordak replied. "This discussion is over. You have 1 month to return all human vessels to your quarantine zone. After that, any human ship detected outside the boundary will be eliminated." Jake felt anger burning in his chest. He looked at each council member, seeing fear and disgust in their alien faces. They had already made up their minds before humanity even arrived. "You're making a mistake," Jake said, his voice low and steady. "You're judging us based on what we were, not what we can become. You call us dangerous, but I think you're just afraid. Afraid that we might be better than you." "Your arrogance proves our point," Mordak said. "Guards, escort them back to their shuttle." The humans had no choice but to leave. As they walked back through the corridors, aliens watched them with cold, fearful eyes. Jake felt humiliation burning through him, but also something else: determination. On the shuttle ride back to their ship, the delegation sat in stunned silence. Finally, Kyle spoke. "What do we tell Earth?" Jake stared out at the stars. "We tell them the truth. The galaxy rejected us, but we don't accept their judgment." He turned to face the others. "They think we're dangerous. They think we're too aggressive. Maybe they're right. And maybe that's exactly what we need to survive." "What are you saying?" Lisa asked. "I'm saying they just made the biggest mistake in galactic history," Jake replied. "They think putting us in a cage will contain us. They're wrong. We're going to show them exactly what humanity can do when we're backed into a corner." The shuttle flew toward the quarantine boundary, carrying humanity's delegation back to Earth. Behind them, the Galactic Council believed they had solved a problem. They had no idea they had just created something far more dangerous than they imagined. They had given humanity a reason to become stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever before. In trying to contain humanity, they had ensured humanity would never stop fighting for freedom. Captain Megan Torres watched the sensors carefully as her ship approached the quarantine boundary. The Shadowrunner looked like a normal cargo vessel from the outside, but inside, it carried technology that no other species in the galaxy possessed. At least, no species that the Galactic Council knew about. "Shroud drive ready?" Lieutenant Nicole Price reported from the navigation station. "All systems green." "Activate on my mark," Megan said calmly. She had done this dozens of times, but crossing the boundary never stopped making her nervous. One mistake, one sensor glitch, and the automated defense stations would vaporize them in seconds. 75 years had passed since humanity's exile. 3 generations had grown up knowing they were prisoners in their own corner of space. But humanity had not been sitting idle. While the Council believed humans were contained and helpless, the truth was very different. 3, 2, 1. "Mark," Megan counted down. The shroud drive activated with a low hum. The ship didn't become invisible exactly. Instead, it bent light and sensor readings around itself, creating a bubble of distorted space. To any outside observer, the Shadowrunner simply ceased to exist. "We're through," Nicole reported as they crossed the boundary. The defense stations remained silent. They never even knew the ship was there. Dr. Eric Chen looked up from his console with a satisfied smile. Perfect crossing. The shroud drive is running at 98% efficiency. It better be, Megan said. We spent 20 years developing this technology. The Shadow Runner was one of 30 stealth vessels humanity had built in secret. While the Council watched Earth's quarantine zone, expecting humans to slowly waste away, humans had been busy. Very busy. Setting course for the Vrelnik system, Nicole said. We should arrive in 4 days. Megan leaned back in her chair. The Vrelniks were about to get a surprise. They thought they were alone, abandoned by the galaxy, just like humanity. They had no idea that help was coming. 4 days later, the Shadow Runner emerged from faster-than-light travel near a red dwarf star. Sensors showed 3 planets, but only the second one mattered. It was covered in massive crystal formations that sparkled in the red sunlight. This is it, Eric said, studying the readings. Vrelnik's Prime. According to Council records, they were exiled 800 years ago. Same classification as us, Megan noted. Apex predators, too dangerous to let out of their cage. I'm detecting energy signatures on the surface, Nicole reported. They're still alive down there. Should I hail them? Do it, Megan ordered. The communication took several minutes. Finally, a response came through. The translator worked hard to convert the crystalline being's vibrations into human speech. Unknown vessel. You are in restricted space. The Galactic Council has forbidden contact with our species. Leave immediately, or we will defend ourselves. Vrelnik's Prime, this is Captain Megan Torres of Earth, Megan replied. We're not with the Council. We're like you, exiled, banished. We want to talk. Silence. Then, Earth, the newest exiled species? How did you cross the boundary? The defense stations should have destroyed you. We found a way around them, Megan said. Can we meet face to face? We have information that will interest you. More silence. Finally, land at the coordinates we're sending. Come alone, Captain. If this is a Council trick, you will not leave our planet alive. Megan took a shuttle down to the surface, accompanied only by Eric. The landing coordinates led them to a vast crystal city that grew straight from the planet's crust. Vrelnik's beings moved through the structures, their bodies humming with energy. A tall, crystalline figure approached them. Its body shifted through different colors as it spoke. I am Scholar Crix. Why has Earth contacted us? Megan pulled out a data device. Because the Council lied to both of us. You're not the only exiled species. We found records of 17 different species classified as apex predators and quarantined across the galaxy. The Council has been doing this for thousands of years. Crix's colors shifted to dark red, suggesting anger. 17? We thought we were unique in our punishment. So did we, Eric said. But we started digging through every information source we could hack into. The pattern is clear. Whenever a species shows signs of becoming powerful enough to challenge the Council's authority, they get labeled as dangerous and exiled. This is about control, Megan continued. Not safety. The Council fears competition. They want to stay in power forever, so they exile anyone who might threaten that power. Crix was silent for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was quieter. 800 years. We have been trapped here for 800 years because of their fear. We want to change that, Megan said. Humanity is reaching out to every exiled species we can find. We're building a network, sharing technology, helping each other. The Council thinks they can keep us separated and weak. We're going to prove them wrong. A network of exiles, Crix said thoughtfully. His colors shifted to bright blue. A hidden alliance of the species they feared most. The Council would panic if they knew. Then we'll make sure they don't know, Megan replied. Not yet. Not until we're ready. Over the following days, Megan shared everything humanity had learned. In return, the Vrelniks shared their own discoveries. They had developed crystal-based computing technology far beyond what the Council possessed. They also knew the location of 3 other exiled species nearby. "We survived by adapting," Crix explained. "We learned to live within our limitations, but we never forgot what was taken from us." "Neither did we," Megan said. "And we won't forget the others still trapped like us." Back on the Shadowrunner, Megan recorded her report for Director Greg Walsh, head of Humanity's Secret Outreach Initiative. "Contact successful. The Vrelniks are willing to join our network. They've already provided coordinates for 3 more exiled species. They also shared technology that will improve our shroud systems by at least 30%. She paused, looking out at the stars. "Director, the more we learn, the clearer it becomes. The Council isn't protecting the galaxy from us. They're protecting their power from anyone who might challenge them. Every species they've exiled was showing signs of innovation, rapid development, or social cohesion that threatened the status quo." Nicole entered the bridge. "Captain, I've been analyzing the star charts Crix gave us. There are patterns here. The exiled species are positioned across the entire galaxy, but they're all in regions rich with rare resources. Resources the Council claims are too dangerous for younger species to access." "Let me guess," Eric said. "Those same resources are critical for advanced technology." "Exactly," Nicole confirmed. "Quantum foam deposits, dark matter clusters, exotic particles, everything you'd need to build a civilization that could rival the Council." Megan felt pieces clicking into place. "They're not just exiling us. They're claiming all the best resources for themselves and keeping everyone else weak and dependent." "What do we do with this information?" Eric asked. Megan thought about Earth, about the millions of humans growing up in a cage they didn't choose. She thought about the Vrelniks, brilliant and creative, trapped for 8 centuries because they dared to be exceptional. She thought about 15 other species out there, probably thinking they were alone and forgotten. "We keep building our network," she said firmly. "We reach every exiled species we can find. We share everything we know, and we start gathering those resources the Council thinks they own. Quietly, carefully. We build something they never imagined." "And when the Council finds out?" Nicole asked. "By then it'll be too late," Megan replied. "We're not asking for permission anymore. We're taking what should have been ours all along." She sent her report back to Earth through a series of relay stations hidden in asteroid fields. By the time it reached Director Walsh, the Shadowrunner was already heading toward the next set of coordinates Crix had provided. On Earth, Greg Walsh read Megan's report and smiled. He called a meeting of the Secret Council that oversaw humanity's hidden activities. Around the table sat representatives from military, scientific, and diplomatic divisions, all working in the shadows, all building toward a future the Galactic Council couldn't imagine. "Megan made contact," Walsh announced. "The Vrelniks are with us. That makes 3 exiled species in our network, with 14 more to find." "How long until we're strong enough?" someone asked. Walsh looked at the star map on his screen, marking each exiled species in red. "Years, maybe decades. But we're not just surviving anymore. We're building something new. Something the Council created by accident when they tried to contain us." He stood and looked out at the night sky visible through the window. "They wanted to keep us small and afraid. Instead, they gave us allies, purpose, and time to grow strong in the shadows. The Council thinks they won by exiling us. They're about to learn they just gathered all their biggest threats and gave us a reason to unite." Marcus Webb adjusted his holographic disguise one more time before entering the trading post. To any observer, he looked like a perfectly normal Zentari merchant, complete with 4 arms and blue-tinted skin. In reality, he was as human as they came, wearing technology that would have shocked the Galactic Council if they knew it existed. The trading post orbited a busy commercial hub. hundreds of light years from Earth's quarantine zone. Thousands of beings moved through its corridors, buying and selling goods from across the galaxy. None of them knew that one of the most successful merchants among them was a member of a supposedly exiled species. "Marcus," a voice called. A genuine Zentari approached carrying cargo manifests. "The shipment from the Polaris Nebula arrived. Your quantum foam delivery." "Excellent," Marcus replied in perfect Zentari. The translation implant in his throat handled the complex language flawlessly. "Loaded onto my ship. I have buyers waiting." 150 years had passed since humanity's exile. The galaxy thought humans were still trapped in their cage, slowly using up their limited resources. The truth was far more interesting. Marcus returned to his ship, a mid-sized freighter registered under multiple fake identities. Once inside, he dropped the holographic disguise with relief. Maintaining the illusion was exhausting. Lieutenant Ashley Grant looked up from her station. Like Marcus, she appeared to be crew from various species when the hologram was active. Right now, she was just a human woman in a military uniform, her real face showing. "Did anyone suspect?" she asked. "Not a chance," Marcus said. "I've been trading in this sector for 5 years. They trust me. More importantly, they talk freely around me." Ashley smiled. "Good. Because I just intercepted a council communication that's very interesting. They're planning an inspection tour of quarantine zones next year, including Earth." Marcus felt his stomach tighten. "They suspect something? Maybe. Or maybe it's routine. Either way, we need to be ready." The ship launched from the trading post, but instead of heading to legitimate destinations, Marcus plotted a course toward a specific nebula, the Polaris Nebula, rich with quantum foam, the miracle substance that powered most advanced council technology. 3 days later, they arrived at a massive mining operation hidden deep within the nebula's gas clouds. To casual scans, the facility looked like nothing more than natural formations. But inside, hundreds of workers from 17 different species operated sophisticated mining equipment. Admiral Chris Logan met Marcus at the docking bay. The Admiral commanded humanity's secret fleet, and he looked tired but satisfied. "Another shipment?" Chris asked. 3 tons of refined quantum foam," Marcus confirmed. "Sold at market prices to legitimate buyers, then quietly purchased back through shell companies and now delivered here. The Council has no idea 30% of the galaxy's quantum foam production is being redirected to us." Chris nodded approvingly. "The Coalition is producing 60 new ships this month. With this foam, we can power all of them. We're up to 300 warships now, all hidden across dead systems and asteroid fields." 300 against the Council's millions, Marcus noted. "Quality over quantity," Chris replied. "Every ship we build incorporates technology from all 17 exiled species. We're not matching the Council. We're surpassing them." Inside the facility, Marcus met with Ambassador Lauren Hayes. She represented humanity in the Coalition of Exiled Species, a secret government that operated in the shadows of galactic society. "We have a problem," Lauren said without preamble. "Ashley's intelligence was correct. The Council is planning systematic inspections of all quarantine zones. They've done this before, and we've found records of what happens next." She pulled up holographic files. "Every 50 to 200 years, the Council checks on exiled species. If they find that species has grown too strong, too organized, or too technologically advanced, they execute what they call a cleansing. They send a fleet and destroy everything." Marcus felt cold. "They genocide entire species?" "According to these records, they've done it at least 8 times in the past 1,000 years, Lauren confirmed. "Species that broke quarantine, species that developed dangerous technology, species that might pose a threat. All eliminated. And Earth is next for inspection," Ashley added. "If they see what we've really accomplished, they'll send a cleansing fleet. Chris crossed his arms. Then we make sure they don't see anything. Earth looks exactly like it did 150 years ago from the outside. Minimal space presence, basic technology, no signs of expansion beyond the quarantine zone. Will that be enough? Marcus asked. It has to be, Lauren said. We're not ready for open conflict. Not yet. We need more time, more ships, more allies. The coalition is strong, but we're not strong enough to fight the entire council. Over the following months, the coalition worked frantically to hide any evidence of their true capabilities. Hidden bases were buried deeper. Mining operations were disguised more carefully. Ships were scattered to the furthest reaches of space. Marcus continued his work as a merchant, but now he also gathered intelligence on council fleet movements. Ashley embedded herself deeper into council communication networks, intercepting and analyzing thousands of messages. One night, after a successful trading run, Marcus met with a Vrelnix named Crix, the same scholar who had first joined humanity's network 75 years ago. Your species started this alliance, Crix said, his crystalline body glowing softly. We were content to survive in our exile. You made us believe we could do more. You would have figured it out eventually, Marcus replied. Perhaps, perhaps not. 800 years is a long time to lose hope. Crix shifted colors to a thoughtful purple. The council fears us because we're different from them. They evolved slowly, cautiously. They built their civilization over millions of years. Species like yours and mine, we innovate rapidly. We adapt. We push boundaries. That terrifies them. Because innovation threatens their control, Marcus said. Exactly. They want the galaxy to remain static, with them at the top forever. But change is inevitable. Life always finds a way to grow and evolve. They can delay it, but they cannot stop it. 6 months before the scheduled inspection, Ashley made a critical discovery. She had been monitoring Council military communications when she found something alarming. Marcus, you need to see this, she said urgently. The message was buried in routine fleet deployment orders, but Ashley had learned to read between the lines. A Council battle group was being quietly assembled near Earth's sector. The official reason was training exercises, but the timing was suspicious. They're preparing a cleansing, Ashley said. The inspection is just an excuse. They've already decided Earth is too dangerous. Marcus immediately sent an encrypted message to Admiral Logan. We need to accelerate Operation Revelation. Operation Revelation was the Coalition's contingency plan. If discovered, they wouldn't hide or run. They would reveal their true strength and dare the Council to act. It was risky, but it might be their only chance. Lauren called an emergency meeting of the Coalition leadership. Representatives from all 17 exiled species gathered in a secret station hidden inside a black hole's event horizon, the one place Council sensors couldn't reach. The decision is before us, Lauren addressed the assembly. We can continue hiding, hoping the Council doesn't discover us. Or we can take control of our own destiny and reveal ourselves on our terms. The debate was intense. Some species wanted more time. Others, like the Vrelnix, had waited long enough. Finally, a vote was called. The Coalition chose action over hiding. Then we prepare, Lauren said. In 1 year, when the Council fleet arrives at Earth's boundary, we'll be waiting. Not to fight unless we must, but to show them that we're not the scared, isolated species they think we are. Marcus returned to his trading routes, but everything had changed. Each cargo run now carried additional missions, positioning supplies, moving ships into strategic locations, preparing for the day when humanity and its allies would step out of the shadows. Chris Logan oversaw the largest military buildup in human history, all done in secret. Ships, weapons, soldiers, all hidden across dozens of systems. As the inspection date approached, Marcus stood on the bridge of a Coalition command ship, watching the preparations. Around him, humans worked alongside Vrelnix, and a dozen other species. Different forms, different thoughts, but united by a single purpose. They wanted to contain us, Marcus said to Ashley. They thought exile would keep us weak and divided. Instead, they forced us to become stronger, Ashley replied. They created their own worst nightmare, an alliance of every species they feared most, working together, learning from each other. Marcus smiled grimly. In trying to prevent us from becoming powerful, they ensured we would become unstoppable. The Council's inspection fleet would arrive in 2 months. When they crossed into Earth's space expecting to find a weak, isolated humanity, they would instead find something that would change the galaxy forever. The exiled were about to become the powerful, and nothing would ever be the same again. Admiral Ryan Foster stood on the bridge of Earth's primary defense station, watching the sensors with steady eyes. 200 years had passed since humanity's exile, and today would determine whether humanity would remain trapped or finally break free. Council fleet detected, Lieutenant Brittany Woods reported from her station. 300 warships, just as intelligence predicted. They're approaching the quarantine boundary now. Ryan nodded slowly. The moment they had prepared for had finally arrived. How long until they reach the boundary? 2 hours, Brittany replied. She was humanity's best pilot, hand-picked to lead the fighter wings when the time came. Her hands moved confidently across her controls, ready for whatever happened next. Outside Earth's orbit, the visible defenses looked weak and outdated. A few dozen ships, all using technology that seemed barely more advanced than what humanity had possessed 2 centuries ago. To any observer, Earth appeared exactly as the Council expected, isolated, limited, slowly dying. The Council fleet was led by High Admiral Zex Theron, a Krell warrior with a reputation for ruthless efficiency. His flagship, the Dominion, was one of the largest warships in the Council's arsenal. Behind it, 300 vessels moved in perfect formation, a display of overwhelming power. "Attention, human quarantine zone!" Zexatheron's voice boomed across all frequencies. "This is High Admiral Zexatheron of the Galactic Council. We are conducting a mandatory inspection. Prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will be met with immediate destruction." On Earth, billions of humans watched the sky, knowing their fate hung in the balance. In bunkers and command centers across the planet, military leaders waited for Admiral Foster's signal. Ryan picked up the communicator. "This is Admiral Ryan Foster of Earth Defense Command. Hi, Admiral, you are not welcome here. Turn your fleet around." Zex Theron laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the comm system. "You have no authority to deny us, human. You exist only because we allow it. Now stand down or be eliminated." "Is that a threat?" Ryan asked calmly. "It is reality," Zex Theron replied. "Your sensors show you have less than 50 ships. We have 300. This is not a battle you can win. Surrender now, and your species may survive." Ryan looked at Brittany and smiled. "Light the beacons." Across the quarantine zone, hundreds of hidden installations received the signal simultaneously. In asteroid fields, dead planets, nebula clouds, and empty space, massive facilities that had been dark and invisible for decades suddenly activated. Their shroud systems deactivated, revealing their true forms. On the Dominion's bridge, alarms began screaming. "Admiral!" a sensor officer shouted in panic. "Contacts! Hundreds of contacts appearing all around us!" Zex Theron stared at his tactical display in disbelief. The empty space around his fleet had suddenly filled with signatures, ships, stations, weapons platforms, all materializing as if from nothing. And they weren't just human designs. He saw hull configurations from 17 different species, including some that were supposed to be extinct. "What is this?" he demanded. The answer came from a new voice on the communication channel. General Amanda Cole, commander of the Coalition Defense Forces, spoke with quiet authority. High Admiral Zextherin, you are surrounded. Your fleet is outnumbered and outmatched. Power down your weapons and prepare to receive a diplomatic delegation. Impossible, Zextherin growled. Humans don't have this technology. You couldn't have built all this without us knowing. You're right, Amanda replied. Humans didn't build all this. The Coalition did. Every species you exiled, every civilization you tried to contain, we found each other. We helped each other. And we've been preparing for this day for 2 centuries. Brittany launched from the defense station in her Phantom-class fighter, leading a wing of 50 similar craft. The Phantom fighters were unlike anything the Council had seen before. They incorporated Vrelnik's crystal computing, human engineering, and propulsion systems developed by 3 other exiled species. They were faster, more maneuverable, and more powerful than anything in the Council's arsenal. All wings, this is Captain Woods, Brittany transmitted. Defensive formation. Show them what we can do, but do not fire unless fired upon. We're here to make a point, not start a massacre. The Phantom fighters performed a coordinated display of aerobatics around the Council fleet, moving at speeds that should have been impossible. They wove between capital ships, demonstrating their superiority without aggression. On the Dominion, Zextherin watched the display with growing dread. Tactical. Can our fighters match those speeds? No, sir, the tactical officer replied quietly. They're operating at least 40% faster than our maximum capability. Zextherin had been a warrior for 300 years. He knew when he was beaten, but pride and duty demanded he try. All ships, power weapons, prepare to engage. I wouldn't recommend that. Paul Martinez's voice cut through the tension. He was humanity's ambassador to neutral species, and he had been waiting for this moment. Hi, Admiral. Before you make a decision you'll regret, you should know that we're broadcasting this entire encounter to every major civilization in the galaxy, including neutral systems and your own council members. You're bluffing, Zextherin said, but his voice lacked confidence. Am I? Paul replied. Check your own communication networks. We've been inside council systems for decades. Right now, billions of beings across the galaxy are watching you decide whether to start a war you cannot win. It was true. Through secret relay systems, the confrontation was being broadcast to thousands of worlds. For the first time, species across the galaxy were seeing the truth about the Council's exiled threats. They saw the Coalition's massive fleet, its advanced technology, and most importantly, its restraint. Zextherin made a quick calculation. If he attacked and lost, the Council would be humiliated. If he attacked and won through sheer destruction, the Council would be seen as genocidal tyrants. If he retreated without engaging, he would look weak, but the Council could regroup and plan. All ships hold fire, he ordered. Then, on an encrypted channel to the Council leadership, he sent a priority message. The humans and their allies are far more advanced than our intelligence suggested. Request immediate reinforcement and strategic reassessment. Amanda Cole sensed the shift in the moment. High Admiral, we don't want war. We want freedom. The Council banished us, labeled us dangerous, and left us to die. Instead, we thrived. We built something new, something better. You violated Council law, Zextherin said, grasping for authority. You left your quarantine zones. You collaborated with other exiled species. These are capital offenses. Capital offenses according to laws we never agreed to, Ryan Foster interjected. The Council exiled us without trial, without representation, without any chance to prove ourselves. You judged us based on fear, not justice. Paul Martinez activated a data transmission. We're sending you files now, High Admiral. Evidence we've gathered over the past century. The Council hasn't just exiled species they deem dangerous. You've cleansed 8 civilizations, completely destroyed them when they showed signs of independence. You've manipulated resource distribution to keep younger species dependent and weak. You've lied about the nature of the universe to maintain your control. As the data flooded the Dominion's systems and was simultaneously broadcast across the galaxy, reactions rippled through civilized space. Neutral species began demanding answers. Even some council member species expressed shock and outrage. Zex Theron felt control slipping away. "What do you want?" "A new order," Amanda said firmly. "No more exiles, no more classifications, no more council deciding which species are worthy and which are dangerous. We want a galaxy where all species have equal opportunity to grow, to trade, to exist without fear of elimination." "And if the council refuses?" Zex Theron asked. "Then we'll continue building our coalition," Ryan replied. "We'll continue trading, growing, and thriving. The difference is, now everyone knows we exist." "The council can't just sweep us away quietly anymore. The galaxy is watching." Brittany brought her fighter alongside the Dominion's bridge, close enough for them to see her clearly. A human pilot, in a ship that defied their understanding of physics, staring back at them without fear. "You called us dangerous," she transmitted directly to Zex Theron. "Maybe we are. But we're also the species you left for dead who refused to die. We're the exiles who turned exile into opportunity. We're proof that your system is broken. Every species you feared is now working together, building something you never imagined possible." Zex Theron looked at the tactical display, at the hundreds of coalition ships surrounding his fleet. Then he looked at the communication reports showing the galaxy-wide broadcast. The Council's greatest secret, their treatment of exiled species, was now public knowledge. "Stand down," he ordered his fleet. "All ships, return to defensive posture only." He opened a channel to Amanda Cole. "General, I will deliver your message to the Council, but I warn you, they will not take this challenge lightly. You have revealed yourselves. There is no going back to hiding now." "We don't want to go back," Amanda replied. "We're done hiding, done asking permission to exist. The Council created this situation. Now they'll have to live with the consequences." The Council fleet slowly withdrew, still surrounded by coalition vessels. No shots were fired, no ships were destroyed. But everything had changed. As Zex Theron's flagship crossed back into Council space, he looked at the tactical officer. "Prepare a full report for the Council. Include everything. The Coalition's size, their technology, their unity, and add my personal assessment." "What assessment, sir?" the officer asked. "That we made a catastrophic mistake 200 years ago. We tried to contain humanity and their allies. Instead, we gave them time, motivation, and common cause. We created the very threat we feared." Zex Theron stared at the stars ahead. "And now that threat is loose in the galaxy." President Kate Sullivan walked through the halls of Unity Station, watching beings from dozens of species work side by side. 5 years had passed since the confrontation at Earth's quarantine boundary, and the galaxy was still adjusting to the changes that followed. The old Galactic Council had collapsed within months of the truth being revealed. 6 species withdrew completely, disgusted by the revelations of cleansings and manipulation. The remaining species demanded reform, but could not agree on what form that should take. In the chaos that followed, humanity and its coalition partners stepped forward with a proposal. A new galactic government built on equality and merit, not ancient power and control. The United Galactic Coalition now represented 47 species, including 6 former council members who had chosen to join the new order. Unity Station, built cooperatively by multiple species, served as its headquarters. It floated in neutral space, deliberately positioned so no single species could claim ownership. "Madam President," Director Sam Burke approached, carrying data pads. He headed the reconstruction effort, coordinating the massive project of rebuilding worlds that had been exploited or damaged under Council rule. "The resource redistribution report is ready. You're not going to like the numbers." Kate took the pad and scanned through it. Her face darkened. 32 worlds stripped of 90% of their natural resources. 15 species kept technologically dependent through controlled trade restrictions. And this is just what we've documented so far. The old council built their prosperity on the backs of everyone else, Sam said grimly. Fixing it will take decades, maybe centuries. Then we start now, Kate replied firmly. Open trade routes to those 32 worlds. Provide them with technology and resources to rebuild. No strings attached, no debts owed. Some coalition members worry we're giving too much away, Sam noted. Some coalition members need to remember why we built this organization, Kate said sharply. We're not here to replace one empire with another. We're here to prove there's a better way. In a medical research facility on Unity Station, Dr. Rebecca Turner worked on a problem that had consumed her for months. The scanner in front of her showed a complex energy pattern, unlike anything naturally occurring in the galaxy. Her assistant, a Vrelnix named Kel, observed the readings with concern. The signal is getting stronger. Whatever it is, it's getting closer. And it's definitely artificial, Rebecca confirmed. This isn't some natural phenomenon. Something created this, something intelligent. The discovery had come accidentally. While installing new sensor networks across Coalition space, they had detected a faint signal coming from beyond the galactic rim. At first, they thought it was an equipment malfunction, but the signal persisted, and analysis showed it was moving toward the galaxy at incredible speed. Rebecca sent her findings to the Coalition Security Council. Within hours, she was summoned to an emergency meeting. Kate Sullivan chaired the meeting with military and scientific leaders from multiple species in attendance. Captain Alex Morrison, great-grandson of Jake Morrison, who had been exiled 2 centuries ago, represented the Coalition Defense Forces. "What are we looking at, Dr. Turner?" Kate asked. Rebecca brought up a holographic display. "This is the signal we've detected. Based on its characteristics, it appears to be a machine intelligence. Not biological, not even artificial intelligence as we understand it. Something different, something ancient." "How ancient?" Alex asked. "Millions of years, possibly," Rebecca replied. "The energy signature suggests technology far beyond anything any species in our galaxy has developed, and it's heading directly toward us." The room fell silent. Finally, Sam Burke spoke up. "Could this be what the old council was actually worried about? Not us, but this?" Kate turned to her intelligence advisor. "Pull all archived council records, everything classified, everything hidden. If they knew about this threat, I want to know what they knew." Over the following weeks, a disturbing picture emerged. The Galactic Council had been aware of the machine intelligence for thousands of years. Ancient records spoke of a war fought before recorded history, when the galaxy's earliest civilizations had battled a force from outside. That force had been defeated and driven away, but warnings had been passed down through generations. The Council's authoritarianism, their fear of rapid technological advancement, their need to control every aspect of galactic society, suddenly made terrible sense. They had been preparing for this threat's return, convinced that only a unified, strictly controlled galaxy could survive it. "They were preparing for war," Alex said, reviewing the military documents. "All their resource hoarding, their technology monopolies, it was all meant to build a defense against this machine intelligence. But they didn't tell anyone," Kate said bitterly. "They ruled through fear and control instead of honesty and cooperation." "Would anyone have believed them?" Sam asked. "Would species have given up their freedom willingly if they knew?" "We'll never know," Kate replied, "because they never gave anyone the choice." The signal continued to grow stronger. Within 2 months, long-range sensors detected the source, a massive construct, larger than most stars, moving through space at faster than light speeds. It was headed directly toward the galaxy's core. Kate called an unprecedented assembly of all galactic species, including those who had withdrawn from the Coalition and even the remnants of the old Council. Representatives from 93 different civilizations gathered at Unity Station. "We face a threat that doesn't care about our politics or our histories," Kate addressed the assembly. "This machine intelligence is coming, and according to ancient records, it sees all biological life as a threat to be eliminated. Our ancestors fought it once before and barely survived. Now it's returning, and we're fractured and weak from our own conflicts." A former council member, a being that looked like a tree made of metal, spoke up. "You want us to work together after what the council did? After centuries of lies and manipulation?" "I want us to survive," Kate replied bluntly. "I don't care about old grudges right now. We can address those later, if there is a later. Right now, we need every ship, every weapon, every idea from every species in this galaxy." "Why should we trust the Coalition to lead this effort?" another representative demanded. "You're as young as the species you represent." Alex Morrison stood up. "Because we're the species who refused to accept defeat. We were exiled, told we were too dangerous, left to die. Instead, we built alliances. We shared knowledge. We proved that working together makes us stronger than standing alone. That's exactly what this situation requires." Rebecca Turner activated a holographic display. "We've been analyzing the machine intelligence's technology. It's incredibly advanced, but it's not invincible. However, no single species in this galaxy has the capability to fight it alone. The old council might have had a chance if they'd kept everyone dependent and weak, but we're not in that position anymore." "So what do we do?" someone asked. "We do what humanity did when we were exiled," Kate said. "We adapt, we innovate, we combine our strengths. Every species here has something unique to contribute. The Vrelniks have computational technology that can analyze the machine intelligence's patterns. The Krell have military discipline and strategic thinking. Humans have experience with rapid innovation and unconventional warfare. Together, we're greater than any of us alone." The debate continued for days. Some species wanted to retreat to their home systems and defend individually. Others proposed surrender or negotiation. But slowly, inevitably, they began to see Kate's logic. Sam Burke led the Coalition's industrial mobilization. Former quarantine zones were opened completely, revealing hidden facilities and resources. The Coalition shared shroud drive technology with everyone, giving even small species the ability to hide their fleets. Weapons designs were distributed freely. Knowledge became currency in the fight for survival. Rebecca Turner coordinated the scientific effort, bringing together the brightest minds from dozens of species. They studied the ancient records and the current sensor data, building a picture of what they faced. The machine intelligence was not just one entity, but a network of millions of autonomous units, all working toward a single purpose, consuming biological civilizations to fuel its endless expansion. "It's been doing this for millions of years," Rebecca explained to Kate. "It moves from galaxy to galaxy, consuming everything, then moving on. Our galaxy is just its next target." "Can we stop it?" Kate asked. "I don't know," Rebecca admitted. "But we have something it doesn't expect. Unity, cooperation, the willingness to sacrifice for each other. Those aren't just nice words, they're tactical advantages. Biological life is messy and unpredictable. That's our strength." 6 months after the first detection, the machine intelligence reached the galactic rim. Its first contact with Coalition forces was devastating. 30 ships were destroyed in minutes, unable to even scratch the massive construct's hull. But the Coalition learned from every engagement. They adapted, changed tactics, developed new weapons. Species that had been enemies weeks before now shared critical intelligence and resources. Alex Morrison commanded the defense fleets, using strategies that combined human innovation with alien perspectives. Brittany Woods, now promoted to admiral, led strike forces using phantom fighters modified with technology from 6 different species. The war was brutal. Entire star systems were evacuated. Billions died in the first year alone. But the galaxy did not break. Instead, it grew stronger. Kate Sullivan stood on Unity Station's observation deck, watching a mixed fleet of human, Vrelniks, Krell, and former council ships head toward the front lines. Sam Burke joined her. "We're holding," Sam said. "Barely, but we're holding. The machine intelligence expected to sweep through us in months. It's been 2 years and we're still fighting." "Because we're fighting together," Kate replied. "Every species contributing what they do best." That's what the Council never understood. They thought control and uniformity made them strong, but true strength comes from diversity working toward a common goal. "Do you think Jake Morrison could have imagined this?" Sam asked. "That day when humanity was exiled, could he have known it would lead here?" Kate smiled. "I think he knew humanity wouldn't give up. Everything else we figured out along the way." In the war room, Rebecca Turner presented a breakthrough. "We found a weakness. The machine intelligence's network relies on quantum entanglement for instantaneous communication across vast distances. If we can disrupt that entanglement, we can fragment the network, turn one intelligence into millions of confused individuals." "How do we disrupt quantum entanglement on that scale?" Alex asked. With this, Rebecca activated a hologram showing a massive device. "We're calling it the Unity Pulse. It combines Vrelnik's crystal technology, human quantum physics, and ancient council knowledge. It will send a wave of specific quantum interference across the entire galaxy. It won't destroy the machine intelligence, but it will break their coordination, giving us a chance to defeat them piece by piece," Alex said thoughtfully. "How long to build it?" "With every shipyard in the galaxy working together, 6 months." The galaxy united like never before. Species that had been isolated for millennia contributed resources. Ancient enemies worked side by side in shipyards and research facilities. The Unity Pulse took shape, a testament to what cooperation could achieve. When it was ready, Kate addressed the galaxy one final time. "Our ancestors were divided, and the machine intelligence nearly destroyed them. We faced the same threat, but we chose a different path. We chose unity over division, cooperation over competition. Today, we show that choice has power." The Unity Pulse activated, sending its wave across the galaxy. For a moment, nothing seemed to change. Then, reports started flooding in. The machine intelligence's coordinated attacks fell apart. Individual units became confused, vulnerable. Coalition forces struck quickly, destroying the fragmented units before they could adapt. The war continued for another year, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. Biological life had learned to work together, and that made them unstoppable. 5 years after Kate Sullivan became president, she stood in the same spot where humanity had once been judged and exiled. But now, she stood among equals. Representatives from 93 species celebrated their victory and the new civilization they had built together. Alex Morrison approached her. "My great-grandfather Jake was exiled from a station like this. He was told humanity was too dangerous to join galactic civilization. Today, humanity helped save that civilization." Kate looked at the diverse crowd of beings, all different, all united. The Council feared what we might become. They were right to fear, but wrong about what that would be. We didn't become conquerors. We became bridges. We became proof that strength comes from unity, not uniformity. "What now?" Alex asked. Kate smiled. "Now we build, we explore, we learn. We do everything the Council said we couldn't do, but we do it together. And we make sure no species ever has to face exile alone again." She looked out at the stars, at a galaxy finally free to reach its full potential. Humanity had been banished from the stars 2 centuries ago, judged too dangerous for the galaxy. In response, humanity had built a hidden power across the heavens. But that power wasn't weapons or ships. It was the ability to unite the divided, to find strength in diversity, to turn enemies into allies. The galaxy had tried to contain humanity. Instead, humanity had shown the galaxy how to be free,